And good morning from beautiful New York. So the weather today couldn't be any more perfect, and grabbed the camera and headed out to capture some beautiful locations. So ordinarily I would never ever shoot during daylight, because I think the best and most beautiful light for photography is definitely sunrise and sunset. But my time in New York is really limited. I'm only here for one weekend. Well, I'm here for the whole week, but my spare time is only this weekend, so got to make the most of it and explore as much of the city as I can. And yeah, that's the beauty of travel photography. Can't just cherry pick the perfect times. Got to roll with the punches, and here we are. Got some great locations in mind today, and can't wait to share those with you. So the first place we're headed is Grand Central Station, which obviously, ironically, is not weather dependent at all, because we're going to be shooting indoors. And afterwards, I've got some another few locations lined up that should also turn out really good. Empire State Building being the one, and the Flatiron Building being the other. So let's get started with location number one and head it over to Grand Central Station. This over here is Grand Central Station, and the most beautiful part of the station is actually the interior. Usually I don't shoot interior shots, but this is a shot I would never want to miss out on. That inside hall is very famous. I don't know if you've seen it before. If you haven't, I'll show you that in a second, and I can't wait to get my own take on it by using my camera and trying to express my own style on the station. And another cool thing that's caught my eye actually is this building over here, which is the Chrysler building. And it's very difficult to photograph because it's very, very, very tall, and we're in very tight quarters here, so it's going to be difficult to frame and get a good angle on it. But maybe afterwards I can walk around here along the street and see if we can get a good composition on this tower. That's on my shooting list as well, but I'm a little bit stretched as to how we can make that happen, but I'm definitely up for the challenge. But before we do that, let's head inside here. I did not anticipate it being quite this busy. I mean, of course it's a functioning train station and there's thousands of people that pass through here every day, but the real challenge is going to be trying to get a good spot up here to get a photo amongst all these tourists. Everybody's wrestling each other for a good shot, and might need a bit of patience to wait my turn just to set up camera, because obviously the best shot's going to be right there, symmetrical, with the whole station in the background. So I guess it goes without saying that my choice of lens is going to be the wide angle, because obviously it'd be great to capture as much of this hall as possible. But let's try and get a spot up here, and then hopefully once we have our turn, we can use the tripod and take our time to get a really good shot. Instead of going for the symmetrical shot, which is just over there where all those people are, I decided to go into this closed restaurant, which I shouldn't actually be doing. But the reason I went in here is just to get a different angle from the corner of the room, which is kind of cool. Something a little bit different to what everybody else is getting, and just waiting for security to tell me off and ask me to leave. But up until that point, nothing's holding me back. So I'm going to be using this tripod, get as many different shots as I can, and then once I'm no longer welcome and asked to leave, then I'll probably head over there and try to get the symmetrical shot afterwards. But so far so good. And they do say it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is for permission. So using that attitude today. Not the greatest attitude, but it results in awesome photos. So let's keep shooting. Right now, I've attached a 10-stop neutral density filter to the front of my lens. And what that is, it's like a really, really strong pair of sunglasses, coupled with the fact that we're doors here, just prolongs the shutter speed by a long, long time. And actually I'm going to aim for a 4-minute exposure in this case, which is why the tripod is absolutely key. You need to keep the camera incredibly still for those 4 minutes, and no better way to do that than with a tripod, of course. And the reason why I chose a 4-minute shutter speed is because I'm hoping that with all these people moving through the station, they'll ghost away, and it kind of creates an effect as if the station was completely empty, which of course wouldn't be attainable with fast shutter speeds where you freeze time and see a lot of people crowded in the station. So that should be a very surreal effect, and I don't know if I'll be able to pull it off, because some people are standing around in the hall waiting for a train on their phones. So there might be a few individual people still left, but I'm expecting to ghost away the vast majority of the people in the shot, and then should make for a very empty shot, the remainder of which I might be able to clean up in Photoshop and then have an almost entirely empty station. So that's a plan in my head, but let's wait the 4 minutes and see what happens. 5 minutes of time captured in a single photo. This is what it looks like. So what did you think of the photo? Let me know in the comments below. So I'm done shooting from this location and gonna exit this restaurant before my luck runs out and security or the police do kick me out. So let's pack up the camera and try a different composition, probably the symmetrical one. Let's do this. Well, I did manage to get the symmetrical shot in the end from up here. Didn't actually take too long to wait for a gap, set up the tripod and fired away, and pretty happy with the shot actually. Here it is. But now it's time to get back in the city, and there's a lot more to explore in New York, which is obviously super huge and there's a lot going on. So let's leave Grand Central Station and head to our next location. I don't know how I'm able to pull this off time and time again, but I just walked into a residential building, headed to the top floor, and moments later we find ourselves on the roof. Check out this view, it's madness. So definitely gonna grab a few snaps here, and can't believe this worked out so smoothly. Just walked in right to the top and here we are. Got this awesome little balcony, crazy styles are going on over here, and can't wait to get the camera out. Let's do this. First I tried out the wide angle lens, which I think I preferred in the end, and then I moved over to the 35mm lens, which is still quite wide, but not quite as wide, and as 18, which I think was the perfect lens just to capture as much of the scenery as possible. Shots look amazing and can't wait to share those with you. Of course midday shots, but I mean the composition is stronger than the average light and the shots look amazing, so do check them out. Here they are. And then also another thing I spotted is that if you look all the way back here, you can actually see the World Trade Center. So I'm gonna get out my 300mm lens, zoom in all the way, and try to capture a lot of that skyline back there. And because I'm using a telephoto lens all the way to 300mm, I'm going to be getting a lot of compression, which means that you're going to be seeing a lot of city blocks stacked up behind each other with the World Trade Center peeking up at the top. And that's a really cool effect, as opposed to wide angle lenses which stretch out the city and then you get a skyscraper behind. So definitely that compression effect would be perfect for this kind of composition. And let me stop blabbing on about it, change the lens, and then let's make this happen.
That's good.
This balcony's been so good, but it's time to get out of here. This next location is also kind of cool, and back on the 18mm wide angle lens, and let me show you why. So I'm trying to capture this street up running with these leading lines, especially that yellow leading line down the middle, which I've put in the center of my composition. And then I'm also trying to frame in with the wide angle lens, just the Chrysler building again. And what's really cool is you've got these leading lines, like I said, that lead up to the Chrysler building, but then you can also get a very strong foreground element, which you should also always work into your shots as well. And I've been waiting here for some yellow cabs to drive past on either side of the road, which also again complements the yellow streak down the middle of the road color-wise. It's just a really stunning composition all around. Because you've got that road with all the New York hustle and bustle of those yellow cabs. See it? There's one just there. Driving along the road, leading up to the Chrysler building. That's a thought process in my mind. And you get a really cool warp as well with the wide angle lens, which really just stretches the compression out with the foreground and the background. So really happy with that result, and let me show you the final photo. Having walked pretty far through Manhattan, I find myself in Midtown now, and check this out. Made it to the iconic Flatiron building, and definitely one of the main icons in New York, and you guessed it, what my foreground element is going to be. Yellow cabs, of course. So not super chuffed with these shots. I think they're a bit too plain, too vanilla, too obvious. But I've just been grabbing my wide angle lens, 18mm of course, just trying to jump into the road in between the traffic, trying to time it right, and then get some cabs in the foreground of the building in the background. Nothing too crazy, but yeah, I'll share the photos with you anyway. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Here they are. The train went all the way to Brooklyn, and that's where I've gotten off. The reason I wanted to check out and explore this area is A, because I want to go grab the sunset at Brooklyn Bridge, but weather's pretty overcast right now, so it's not looking promising at all. And it's still a bit early right now, so I thought before I'd head up to the Rooftop bar, picked out a nice little hotel, a view of Manhattan and the Brooklyn Bridge. Before I head over there, I'm just going to go to this other spot, which I've seen on Instagram numerous times, pure Instagram classic, and that's what inspired me, of course, so nothing original as such, but it's kind of just a street that frames the Manhattan Bridge, I think it's called, and that's where we're headed. This is the kind of idea I'm going for. So you got this like leading lines from the street leading up to a bridge, so I'm just going to keep walking along the street until I'm happy with the composition. Probably need to get a lot closer to frame that bridge properly, and then we'll figure it out from there. Maybe, just maybe, I can get an original twist on it, but if not, just do what everybody else does on Instagram, right? Let's go. So the popularity of this place completely surpassed my expectations. There's just hundreds of people everywhere trying to get the exact same shot that I also had in mind. Hence why I said it's not crazy original and it's a pure Instagram classic, so I definitely didn't expect this. I thought I'd at least get a kind of shot, but it's just impossible. Hundreds of people. I think the only way to really get the shot is if you come here at sunrise, and you might be lucky. But now forget it, I'm not even going to bother taking the shot, but at least now I know this going forward. So I think with that being said, let's head over to Brooklyn's Bridge Park, and hopefully that's a little bit emptier and we might find some good compositions over there at least. Let's check it out. Back at my hotel now, and I always struggle to vlog in rooftop bars. I just think it's awkward enough on the street, and up on a rooftop bar is just nearly impossible. It just doesn't feel right, so I never do it. But I think you got the gist anyway. Beautiful view. Brooklyn is on the other side of the river, so you look into Manhattan and there's a sunset behind. Obviously it was completely grayed over, so there were hardly any tones, but the view was pretty epic as well. Brooklyn Bridge leading up to Manhattan just looks stunning. So yeah, had some beers there and then came back to the hotel and done shooting for today. Really tired. I've been running around the whole day. It's been quite an eventful day. Wow, really awesome stuff. But I think on that note, it's time to call an end to this vlog. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you in a future episode, which is also going to be in New York. Tomorrow we're heading up the World Trade Center, so stay tuned for that vlog. I hope it's going to be good. So don't want to promise too much, of course. But for now, good night and see you soon. Bye.